So I'm going to be talking a bit about experimentation and how we use it at our agency to help our customers continually improve the customer experience. But because we love user research, I'm going to ask a few questions for you guys too. So do you have your phones with you? Can you, to save time, can you go to menti.com and then type in that code? And that just allows, rather than, I always have problems, I ask people to put their hands up, and I can't count very easily, so it's very hard to work out the percentages. And also, we will, some of these questions we can release the results later as well. So hopefully that's okay, and I'll crack on if everyone's there yet. Just about there? There'll be a reminder later as well. So, a quick fact about us. This is us a couple of years ago, actually, outside our building in Kentish Town. And a few years ago, it looked a bit different. And it was actually a workshop of the world's most famous taxidermist, Roland Ward. He moved out and we moved in. And now we're very much focused on designing great experiences for our customers. So here's some of our lovely clients we work for. And you'll notice there's quite a lot of retailers in there. And at the moment, in the retail world, it's looking a little bit grim, isn't it? I mean, all the news recently, so I'll just flick through a few of these. It's depressing, isn't it, really looking at this? Oh my god, every single day. Oh yeah, too. So yes, it's a tough world out there at the moment. And in such a tough environment, it's even more important that all of us here work really, really hard on improving the customer experience, but also make those changes more quickly. That we roll out, we get our ideas out there quickly and we test them. It's the only way that the poor guys above can survive, although those guys haven't today, but our clients. So basically what we believe is that experimentation should be the centre of everything that we do. And that's whether you're a creative designer, like we have a large creative team, and all the UX team, all the insight team, all the analytics guys. We don't believe in like a siloed team doing conversion rate optimization over here, playing with all the A/B testing tools. We really think, and my job today is to hopefully convince you to believe that also, and hopefully get excited. If you haven't done, for example, A/B testing before, hopefully you'll want to have a go. So just when I say experimentation, I mean A/B testing, but I also mean things like prototypes in our labs, testing different concepts out. It's basically testing anything new, putting in front of users. So we do a lot of prototypes in store as well, with the eye tracking glasses. We've recently done some great stuff with testing out brand new taxonomies for our websites using tools like TreeJack. Have you heard of a 5-second test, guys? It's really, really good for getting an instant opinion on creative and messaging and things. And also, preference testing is a really interesting thing we do on photography. And we send this out to thousands of people, and it's a bit like that Facebook thing, isn't it, years ago? It's easy for people to make a decision between one or the other, and then we get some really great feedback to help us. But above everything else, we do tons and tons of A/B and personalization testing, using tools like some of these here, Adobe Target, Google, Monotate, Optimize, Qubit, SiteSpect, etc. And that's live testing on the website. It's funny, when I interview a lot of people and ask, have you done A/B testing before? Often they think it's just testing 2 different versions of a prototype in a lab. Whilst that's great, it doesn't really give you a perfect view as to which version is better. So, now it's all about you guys. So what I'd like to really find out, if you can get your phone up, and hopefully you can go to the first question, which is, and we can get a bit more here. So I really want to know first off of your agency side or client side. So if you can answer that one, that'd be great. And I'm going to jump across, hopefully. If this doesn't work, I'll have to resort to hands, like hands in the air. Okay, cool. So we can see that more client side here, which is interesting. So if you're all done, everyone done? Now we're going to go to the next one, which is, do you regularly use live A/B testing to test your ideas and designs? Okay, so if you guys can go. This is where I have to see an interesting breakdown between client side and agency side. So yeah, absolutely. So actually it's quite interesting to see that more client-side people do the A/B testing rather than agency side, which is a very common thing I see, which is interesting, isn't it? You think that, and I see this all the time, a lot of agencies are more siloed than their clients. And a lot of UXers in client side now are really getting stuck into the A/B testing, which is great to see. So, and this is an interesting one. So if not, can you just write a couple of reasons why not? I think this will be really interesting. If you're not doing A/B testing, why? No time, no budget, everything is urgent. Knowledge, of course. Company is full of idiots. I know where you're coming from. time, all again. Lack of expertise. It is pretty tricky sometimes. Okay, that's really interesting, isn't it? Short-term engagement. Knowledge, yeah, absolutely. Egocentric. What was that? Egocentric? Yeah. Fantastic. It is really interesting. It's not easy, is it? So, right, I'm going to move on to the next one, and this may give some extra reasons why all you guys here maybe should start doing it. So, on question 4, like those who are doing it, why do you A/B test? Don't be shy. Why do you do it? What's the point? Who wants to know if their design worked anyway? Validate decisions, validate hypotheses, insights. Insights, that's interesting. So you want to learn from your testing. Have fun, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Business case, validations. Validation is becoming really big. Understanding what works. Excellent. Money. Stuff for hippos. People know what hippo is, do they? Alright, cool. That's really interesting, isn't it? So you can see that most people are around validating the ideas, knowing what worked. And also there's a bit of mention of money as well and evidence, which can really, in my experience, if you start doing A/B testing, actually you can start to more easily get budget to build up your UX team and build up your design team in-house. Excellent. And all these, oh, you can keep on going, keep on. So, and why do we do it? We do it because it allows us to improve our customers' websites or apps just much more quickly, to be honest. It helps us to, we have a whole team all working together on this, and it just helps us to roll out things more quickly. Interestingly, it helps our creators try out things they'd never normally get the chance to try out. And I'm going to go through a few other things quickly. Why? Firstly, make better decisions. And, oh yes, right, on this one I've got another task for you. You don't mess it up, too, sorry. Okay, so go back to your app again. And I'm going to talk about making decisions. And on this one, oh, actually, okay, go to your app. Then, right, so this is an A/B test that we've run, but I really want to prove this point about whether you can make decisions on your own or whether you need to do A/B testing, you know. So, I've got 4 variations, which we've already tested, and to be honest, I got this wrong when the guys were proposing this, when we were building this A/B test on Furniture Village. So the very simple thing was, do we go with cutout photography and show the cutout beds, or do we go with lifestyle photography, or, like a lot of people do we go with cutout with lifestyle and hover? So I've done a bit of a poor job of animating this, but... Or do we go with D? So I'd like you to vote, and so if you think about the question again, if you were having to make this decision, what would you go with? And we'll see, because if everybody's right, then to be honest, you don't need to do A/B testing too. But let's see, shall we? How are you doing? Oh, we've got the breakdown as well from agency, so we've got the competition going on here. Okay, so the winner, it's looking like cut out with lifestyle and hover. And also lifestyle with cut out and hover. So you really like the hovering thing. And is that because I'm guessing it gives them a net review they can look at when to make their decision? And lifestyle is, oh right, it's interesting. Okay, so let's see. And are you really confident when you asked for everybody? Is everybody really confident? So you don't need to A/B test at all? No? Right, let's have a look. Okay, so actually just the still lifestyle was the winner. And to be honest, I picked the cutout. Well, what I thought it would be the cutout with the lifestyle on hover, because my hypothesis was that the cutout would give them a very practical image first off, and then it gives you the extra one when they hover over it. But the customers felt differently. So I hope that's interesting already. And so, yeah. Okay, so that one was a winner, which is just a reminder for you. Second reason, A/B testing makes you a better designer, I reckon. And it's a bit like whenever I'm giving advice to UXers, I actually want them to observe users in the lab as many hours as they can get. It's a bit like training to be a pilot. To be hours in the lab watching users makes you a fantastic UXer. In addition to that, it's the time you spend A/B testing, because you get learnings back so quickly. That's what makes you a great overall designer and a great marketer. And it's obvious, really, just learning what works, what doesn't work more quickly. But you have to be not scared of the truth, open to the idea of being wrong, of course, because you will be quite often. What we can do through all our skills, we can get near to the right option, but we're still proven wrong quite a lot. We need to be passionate about learning from our customers. We can't ignore what they say. And through A/B testing, they tell you through their clicks and their interactions whether they like something or not. That's the whole thing about A/B testing. And to cope with the pace, it's pretty full on when you're in a full-grown, when you're delivering things every other week, delivering tests. And some definitely prefer not to in the design world at the moment, and that's just the way it is. But I think people are coming around to the opinion that it's better to find out, isn't it, than not to. And the third one is to be more user-centric. And I know a lot of people have funny views about conversion rate optimization and A/B testing, but effectively it's just one massive user research tool, isn't it? It's just like doing user research on a grand scale. For example, a test that concluded a few weeks ago, we had 2.1 million users went through that test. And it's not just about the conversion rate or the revenue, it's about all the metrics we set up around it. We learned that actually, well, a couple of things we learned recently. Filtering, we always try and make more prominent to people, but on some product sets, if you encourage too much filtering, actually it gives them a worse experience because you end up with fewer products to browse through. So that's a really interesting user insight we've learned recently. And the other thing, we often learn that just removing stuff from pages actually improves it rather than adding more content, and that's a bit of a learning curve for a lot of marketing teams actually. And the fourth thing is innovating faster. And we often talk about driving innovation in what we do, because that is effectively what we're doing. We're always experimenting with new things and getting them out there. And it typically takes us 2 weeks to get the ideas out into the wild, from conception all the way out there to build. Of course, developers build these tests out there. And 2 or 3 weeks later, we'll find out if they work, and we'll learn all that insight from them. And each time we come across a winning design, and we're talking about design a lot, not just colouring buttons. Each time we find a new winner, we roll it out, and that becomes the new control. Effectively, the new website gets better and better and better, and that's how we work for our clients. And this is I made it very small so you can't really do it and everything. This is a roadmap for 4 months. Each one of these blue lines is a test, an experiment going live on their website for 2 or 3 weeks. And all the other steps are the project management behind it. And the last one is the freedom to be more adventurous. That's what A/B testing gives you. So, a couple of examples to talk through. First one is reimagining the product details page. We do so much. I guess there's so much to talk about what a product page should be like, but actually it can be something different. It can be something much more engaging for users. So, a quick example of how we work iteratively. This is the North Face page. This is the control. This is the original. And actually, in a better version, you'll see this is all grey underneath here. So in usability testing, we saw people see this wouldn't go low at all. So what we did, after 3 design variations tested, the first step was to restyle the page and actually stick this part of the header. So we had all the information stuff on the left, and then we had a buying area on the right. Then we took it a big leap forward. So then that variation became a new control for all North Face pages, and then the UXers and the design team mocked up tons of different versions, really did some experimentation, and then came up with 4 more design variations. And the winner was a completely different page. One of the problems with this is actually every time someone wants to click an image, it's a bit of extra effort, isn't it? So we thought, why not just scrap thumbnails completely and just put all the images massive on the left-hand side and have all the information on the right. And it worked really, really well for their customers, and it improved conversion rates. So that was a great example of what you can do. And we're already redesigning or rethinking the checkout completely as well. So we've got all kinds of projects on go at the moment. And this is what we can continuously do. This is what you should be doing too. And then an even more adventurous example is something where we take it a bit further. We actually build and create new parts of a website and we deliver it through the A/B testing tool. So we go through all the steps. We went through prototyping, usability testing, and then we basically prototyped up again, built it onto the website. I think another really important way to look at A/B testing is just prototyping. That's what we're doing. We're just building a new version and putting it, but instead of testing it with 6 users, we're testing it with 1 million on the website. So, and I've got a video for this because it's an interesting idea. And there's no music. But this is what we were building. We're building a rabbit finder for answers. See, we changed the rule with our work. And maybe it's good it doesn't have a soundtrack, don't they? So you can see we had a lot of fun with that, and our copywriters and all the creators had a lot of fun working out those journeys. And it also, and we proved it worked. So it was all launched on the website. We experimented with where it would appear and how people would come across it. And it helped people find the products they were looking for more easily, which is the whole point of everything we do. It made the experience better for them, and it also increased conversion rates on the website. So, and we were shortlisted in the Retail Week, which is good to start to see. So hopefully we'll win that in the autumn. So we're really proud of this work. So that's it from me, and just a couple of things to remind you, to summarise really. A/B testing belongs right in the middle of the UX and design process, in my opinion, in our opinion, and it works. It's not just for a small separate CRO team to fiddle around the edges, and it really shouldn't be. It's a tool and technique that can help you make step change improvements in customer experience, and experimentation is critical for the brands to survive the onslaught of Amazon. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.